Would you like to know how to create a mega menu with Elementor Pro for your next WordPress website? Now, I've already covered one way to do it, but today we'll talk about a new way to achieve that. Hello, I'm your host Casino. I'm a digital alchemist, and today we'll talk about a new way to create mega menus with the help of Elementor Pro and a plugin that I've already talked about many times on the channel, Ultimate Add-ons for Elementor, or UAEL. Now, Brainstorm Force, the company behind this plugin, has released a widget called Navigation Menu, and with it comes a mega menu feature that I find quite handy. I've actually had to use it recently on a client project and it worked perfectly. Now, as usual, you will find all affiliate links in the description of this video. Now, it doesn't cost you anything extra, but one, I only recommend products that I use and love, and two, commissions actually help me support this channel so that I can create free content. So, enough talk, let's dive in. Okay, so let's take a look at what we're going to build. As you can see, when I hover over the navigation, I see the first mega menu with regular menu items, then the second mega menu. Then I have the third with images and what could be a video here. Then I have the fourth. The fourth is actually a regular drop-down navigation, and then the home and the contact items in the navigation are just regular navigation items. Now, let's take a look at the tablet version. So this is the tablet version with the navigation widget from Ultimate Add-ons for Elementor. So when you click on it, you see this view, and when you click on each item, you see the sub navigation. And let's take a look at the mobile versions, which is the same as the tablet version, as you can see. Now, this works fine when we're in desktop mode, but in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to actually have this navigation in desktop mode, and then we're going to use a hybrid navigation for the mobile. Now, if you're familiar with my channel, I have a few videos about how to use Elementor pop-ups to create navigation menus, and this is one of the cases where I'd prefer to have this kind of navigation. I think it looks better, even though I didn't really take care of the cosmetics here. I didn't really design anything. I'm just using prototype wireframes, but you get the idea. I think it's much easier to digest than this. I mean, it's just a matter of personal taste. You might prefer this one, and it's also easier once you've done it. It will be ready already. But I prefer using this kind of navigation. You can see also on the mobile. I think it's easier. You don't have everything that's just dropping down. You can just select piece by piece. So this is where I'm going to start from. And first of all, let's check what do we need to complete this tutorial. So the first plugin would be Elementor, which is free, but also Elementor Pro, which is a premium plugin. And we use Elementor Pro because we're going to use the custom header feature. Now, there are loads of features and lots of reasons to get Elementor Pro, and I've talked about it over and over. And I'm not going to talk about it in this video because you probably already know about it. And if you don't, I have plenty of videos talking about that. But for this video, yeah, we're going to use Elementor Pro. Now, when it comes to pricing, it starts at $49 per year. And of course, you'll find a link in the description below. Now, as I often say, I can totally understand that for some people, this could be a lot of money. I completely understand that. Now, on this channel, I've created a few videos where I actually show you how to pitch and sell a website before you actually build it. So you can pre-sell it. What you need to do is have a portfolio, have something to show, and you can totally do that with Elementor, the free version. Now, once you get that, your job actually is to pitch a client and make sure that they want to work with you. And with that money that they're going to pay you upfront, they're going to pay you like 50% upfront, then you can purchase Elementor. Okay, for the rest of you guys who already have Elementor Pro, you will need to use it for this tutorial. Now, the next tool we need is Ultimate Add-ons for Elementor, which I've already talked about on this channel also. It's a plugin that was made by Brainstorm Force, which is the the company behind the Astra theme. So as I said, I've already talked about it, and they've just released this new widget. Well, just released. I mean, it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe a little bit more than that. They released the widget called navigation menu right here. And what this allows you to do is to create beautiful mega menus. So I've played with that a little bit, and that's what we're going to do today. Now, this is also a premium plugin, but what I've just talked about for Elementor Pro is valid for Ultimate add-ons for Elementor. Next, as you'll see in this tutorial, I've actually used prototype wireframe with a tool called WireMentor. Now, disclaimer, I'm the builder of WireMentor, but you actually don't need it for this tutorial. This is just what I'm using. So if you're wondering why did not start from scratch, I'm just using wireframe prototype. So in a nutshell, that's what WireMentor is. I have plenty of element pre-style, and that's going to help me to create this tutorial. Because some of you might not know it, but the average time I spend on a video is minimum 7 hours. It can go up to sky's the limit, really. Usually it's between 7 and 11 hours to produce the video. Not just produce the video, think about the concept, create the like the demo website, recreate it, write all the steps, and then actually shoot it. And then I have to edit it, then I have to make the thumbnails, process the audio, a lot of stuff that I have to do. So basically, in a nutshell, it's between 7 and roughly 11 hours to produce a video. Now, for example, the course that I released, that was 2.5 hours. That took me more than a week actually to work on, and it's completely free. Now, as mentioned, you don't need WireMentor to complete this tutorial. This is just what I've used to go faster. Okay, so we're in the WordPress backend, and for this tutorial, it doesn't really matter which WordPress theme you're using, as long as it's compatible with Elementor. So the first thing you need to do is go to plugins, install plugins, or add new. And you will land here, click on upload plugin, and then you just choose the file. So you're just going to click and go get the various plugins on your computer, like Elementor Pro and the Ultimate add-ons for Elementor. Now, before you do that, you need to install Elementor, and for that, just type Elementor here in the field. And I've already installed and activated it, but basically you just click on install, and once it says install, you just click on activate. Okay, so once that is done, you will move to appearance menus, and you will need to create a bunch of menus for this tutorial. Now, let me show you in the original example. As you can see, when I hover over the alpha item here, so I named the menu Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, as you may have noticed. So when I go over alpha, as you can see here, you have alpha 1, 2, 3, up to 16, which means it's 16 pages, or you can create fake entries in the menu. But if this was a real life project, you'd have to create 16 pages. So that's what I've done. And then you have the same thing for the Bravo. So that's another 16 pages. And then for Charlie, these are images. So that translates here in the navigation in several menus. Now, first of all, I have the main menu, which I've called the menu, and this one has all the pages. So home, then alpha. So if you look here, you have home, alpha, then alpha A, B, C, D, and then the sub pages. And this is what we have here. Then we have the Bravo pages, Charlie, Delta. And basically, once you've created all the pages, you just click on, for example, here I'm gonna click on adding Delta. So if you want to see all the pages, just click on view all, and you will see all the pages that you have. So now I've added Delta, so it's right here, and then I can just place it wherever I want. If I place it really close to the edge, that would be the top level. Then if I move it a notch, that would be the sub menu, and if I move it another notch, that would be the sub menu. Okay, so I'm just going to delete that, because I've already created everything to go faster for the tutorial. And then we also have to create individual submenus, because actually if you look here, this is not the big menu we've just seen. The big menu we've just seen is used for the mobile version. Okay, So what you see here. But what you see here is a bit different. So for that, what I've done is I've created several menus. So I got Alpha A, Alpha B, C, D, Bravo A, B, C, D, and this is what you see here. So that's one menu, that's another menu, that's another menu, and so on. Okay, so basically 4 alpha menus, 4 Bravo menus. I've created one for Delta also, because if you look here, Delta has 4 items. And for Charlie, we actually don't need to have an individual one. Okay. So once you've done all that, we are now ready to start building the mega menu. So let's take a look one more time at the mega menu. What you see here, when I hover over the mega menu, is actually a section from the Elementor library. So all of this is a section, all of this is a section, and all of this is a section. And what the widget from Ultimate Addons for Elementor does is that it's going to go fetch each and every section when we hover over the navigation. So as you may have guessed, we are going to need to create all those sections first before we can create the header. So back in WordPress, you want to go to Templates, Saved Templates. And as you can see, it's completely empty here. So we're going to have to create one. So click on Add New, select Section, and then I'm going to call that tab, and I'm going to call it Alpha Menu. Then click on Create Template. Okay, so we're in Elementor, and the first thing you should do is to create a section. You can either create a section with 4 columns, or you create 1 column like that. Make sure it's full width. Okay, and then go to the widgets icons and select an inner section. Okay, now with the inner section selected, make sure it's also full width, as you see here. And then you want to have 4 columns. So right click on a column and click on add a new column. So this is the basis for what we're going to do. If you go back here, as you can see, we have 4 various columns. Okay, now to go a little bit faster, as I mentioned, I'm going to use a template I already have with Elementor. So let me close that. But it's exactly the same. I'm just going to go a bit faster. So let me copy that, and I'm just going to paste it here. But in a nutshell, it's the same thing. So let me make this full width. I'm just going to remove 1 column. Now to make this less cluttered, let me delete those navigation menus. Okay, and I'm just going to change the text. So that's going to be Alpha A. This one is going to be Alpha B. This one is going to be Alpha C. And here we have Alpha D. Okay. Now, we're going to select our section here. So in case you're wondering how I open the navigator, there are several ways you can do that. In the bottom left corner, you can see the navigator icon here. So just click on it. Or you can use Command I to toggle it on and off on the Mac, and I guess Control I on a Windows or Linux PC. Okay, so with my section selected, let me go to Style, Background Type, and I'm going to change the background type to this color here. But as you can see, it's nothing is really readable, and stuff are really close to the edges. So first of all, let me go to the Advanced tab, still with my section selected. I'm going to unlink the padding values here, and I'm going to give it a top padding of 100 and a bottom padding of 200. Okay. Next, I'm going to start styling the titles here. So click on the title, or just drag. This is a heading widget. So if you go to the widgets, it's a heading widget. So click on the heading widget. I'm just going to give it a contrasting color. Yours might look pretty different than what I'm using here, but just choose a contrasting color. And the same thing for the navigation here. So I'm just going to click on it. And if you're wondering, this is a regular nav menu from Elementor. So if you click on the widgets icon and you tap nav menu, you have a couple. You have nav menu and navigation menu. Navigation menu is the one from Ultimate Add-ons from Elementor. We're not going to use that just yet. We're just going to use the nav menu widget. So that's the one you have to drag here. Now, I've already copied it, so that's what we have here. So I'm just going to give it a contrasting color. So I click on the edit icon, go to style, and I'm going to give it, yeah, this really light blue, almost white color. Next, what I want to do is I want to change that navigation because this is not the actual navigation we need. So click on the edit icon and on the content tab, select the navigation you want in the dropdown. So I'm going to select Alpha A. Okay, so that seems to be looking good. Let me publish to save my work. Okay, so that works good for the desktop. Now, one more thing, you see we have a border here, but you can't really see it now. So for that, select your first column, then go to Style, Border. And as you can see, I've added a solid border. Then I've unlinked the values here, and I've added a right border of 1 pixel, which is what you see also here and here. Now, give it a contrasting color. So once again, I'm going to select a light color, and I'm going to give it some transparency because I don't want it to be full color. So I'm just going to check how it looks. Yeah, looks better. So I'm just going to copy that column. So I right click and click on copy, and then I'm going to right click on the second column and click on paste style. Same on the third. And not on the last one because there's no border on the right hand side on the last one. So now if I take a look, that looks better. Okay, but that was for the desktop. Now we want to make sure everything works fine for the tablet and mobile mode. So in the bottom left corner, click on responsive modes, tablet, and with your section selected, we're going to give it a padding of 70 pixels all around. Okay. So that was for the whole section. And next we want to select our column, which is our first column here. It may be easier to select it in the navigator. So I select my column here. Okay. And now I want to go to advanced also. And you want to unlink the values. For me, it was already done, but for you, it should be like that. So I'm just going to unlink the values. And I'm going to give it a top margin of 30 and a bottom margin of 30 pixels. Okay, so let me take a look. Okay. So now we also need to take care of the border because you want the border to be at the bottom actually and not on the side. So if you want to know how to do that, just go back with your column selected, just go back to style, border as we did earlier, and you want to add a bottom border this time. Okay, so I added 1 pixel, and now you can see here 1 pixel. Now things seems to be really close together, and that's normal. We only style the first column at this point. Okay, and next we want to do the same thing for mobile. So go into mobile mode, and first of all, we're going to select our section, and we're going to give it a top padding. So for that, you need to unlink the value, sorry, and then give it a top padding of 40, a right padding of 20, then bottom of 40 and left padding of 20. Just click on update to save your work. Okay, so that looks good. Now let's go back into tablet mode. And now that we've made some changes to the first column, once again, we're going to right click, copy, and then we're going to paste the style on the next columns. Okay, so now if I go back to the tablet mode, as you can see, it's looking much better. So back in desktop mode, I'm going to right click on the first nav menu item. I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to right click on the heading here and paste it. So it's just going to paste because we've already pre-styled it, so we know it's working fine. And now what we need to do is click on each individual navigation and select the correct one. So alpha B, alpha C, and alpha D. Click on update, and voila. Okay, so let's take a look. That's how we look in tablet mode. And that's how it looks in mobile. Okay. So what we're going to do for the Bravo, which is the second, we're just going to copy all of that to go a little bit faster. So I'm just going to copy that. But actually, before we do that, as you can see here, the first heading has a contrasted colors, which is good, but not the other one. So I'm just going to right click and copy, and then right click on each and every heading and click on paste style. Okay, now I can click on update, and once again I'm going to select the whole section, right click and copy. Next we're going to create another one. So if I refresh, we can see we have the first one, and we're going to create the second one. So we're still in templates, save templates. So click on add new, select section, and we're going to call it tab Bravo menu. Click on create templates. Okay, so now we're in Elementor, and all we have to do is right click, click on paste, and now we only have to change. So it's going to be Bravo A. So let me copy that. It's going to be Bravo B, Bravo C, and Bravo D. And then I'm going to change the navigation for each and every menu. So it's going to be Bravo A, Bravo B, Bravo C, and Bravo D. Okay, let's publish to save our work. And I'm just going to select the whole section. So let me click on section, style, right click, and I'm going to change the color so we can see a little bit of a difference. But if we do that, we also need to change the hover color of each sub-navigation. So click on the navigation menu, then click on the style tab, and on hover, we're going to change that to a contrasted color. So once again, yours might be different. Just select a color that contrasts enough. Okay, and next we're just going to right click and copy the nav menu, and then we're going to right click and paste the style in the other ones. Okay, and for the rest, it's exactly the same. So it should look good in tablet mode and in mobile mode also. Now, of course, this is not a design version. You will spend more time tweaking the font sizes and everything, but you get the idea. So click on update to save your work. And the last one, so let me refresh once again. The last mega menu at least is going to be the tab Charlie mega menu. So still in WordPress template, save templates, click on add new, select section, and then we're going to call it tab Charlie menu. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our alpha tab. We're just going to right click on the section, copy it, then go back to Charlie, right click and paste, because we want to use the same background color, so it makes it easier. And we're just going to remove the second column here. Okay, so we have 3 columns. And so let me delete those here. Then click on the widget icon. I'm going to select image. And I can also delete that menu here. And click on the image edit icon. Click on choose image. And I've already a few images here. So I'm going to use those images. So let me remove the title. So I'm just going to copy it. Then I'm going to paste it in each column. I'm going to remove the headings here. Okay, and then I'm just going to change the images. So for the second one, we could imagine we could insert a video. Now, this is not a real video. This is a fake image, but we could add a video widget. If you go to the widgets icon and type video, we could add a video here, right here. But I'm not so sure it's a good idea because those tabs and those pages that will be loaded on each and every web pages on the website. So if you want to keep your website, fast enough, it's not really a good idea, especially if you're using some videos from popular services because they load a lot of stuff on each and every page. So, but just to show you what's possible. Then the last one, for example, we could have a map. Okay, you get the idea. We can have call to actions, we can have images, we can have pretty much anything you want. Just bear in mind that it might make the website heavier. So don't use too many images and heavy stuff. Okay, so now let's take a look at the tablet version and the mobile version. Okay, so looks good. Let's click on publish. Okay, we've covered a lot, and in the next session, we create our header and link it to those tabs we've just created. So in this segment, we're going to create the header. Now go to templates, theme builder, and you want to create a new header. So for that, click on add new, select header, and then give it the name that you want. Now I've already created one. So if we go inside the window, so it's right here. Okay, and basically we're going to create a section with two columns. So click on the plus and select the two columns. And then we're just going to add an image for the logo, and then we're going to add our navigation. Now, once again, I've already done that in Elementor, so I'm just going to copy it, but it's pretty easy to follow along. So once again, it's one section with two columns, as you can see here. And we can see it even better here in the navigator. So the main section, column 1, column 2. In column 1, I have an image. So I'll just drag an image with the logo. Now you want to make sure the logo is clickable. So click on the logo, then click on link, custom URL, and then click on dynamic and select site URL. So it's just going to select whatever the address of your website is. It's just going to select that dynamically. Okay. And here on the right hand side, this is a pre-style list item. Actually, it's not a real navigation. So I'm just going to delete that. So what you want to do is click on the widgets icon and then type nav. And you want to select the navigation menu from Ultimate Add-ons. So you can see the little label UAE. Okay, and once we're in there, before we start building the navigation, click on layout. And then where it says alignment, select right. Okay. So that's pretty much about it for the desktop version. So now we can go back to the menu part here. And where it says type, you want to select custom. Okay. And we're going to delete all the items. Well, you cannot delete the first one, but delete all the other items. So make sure item type is menu, and we're going to call it home. We're not going to select the exact address for this tutorial. Then we're just going to duplicate home and call it contact. Okay, and now we want to build Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta in the navigation. If you recall the initial demo, so that's what we want here. Okay, so click on add item, make sure item type is menu, call it alpha, and where it says drop down width, select equal to section. Okay, so we're going to drag this just under home. Click on add item, drag it just below alpha. And this time the item type, we want to have a submenu. The content type should be a saved section. And in the select section drop down, you want to select the alpha menu. Okay, so I'm going to click update. It might be published for you. The first time it says publish, mine says update in the bottom left corner. Make sure you click on the little arrow next to the button, click on display conditions. And by default, this is what you see. There's nothing. So you need to click on add condition. And by default, it would add include on the entire website, which is exactly what we want. So click on save and close. Okay, and now if you go back to the front end, I'm going to refresh our page. And voila, we have our navigation, home, and then when I hover over alpha, as you can see, it works, which is what we wanted. We just want to get rid of this divider line here. Okay, so let me go back. So once again, it's this line here we want to get rid of. So with our navigation menu selected, so make sure you select navigation menu, go to style. We want to go to the drop down part here. So initially it goes to main menu, but you want to click on drop down. And next you want to change some of the color. So the background color should be a color that's contrasting enough, sorry. So I'm going to pick that one here, and the color of the text should contrast with that color, of course. Same thing for the hover. You may want to pick another color so that the hover is visible, and the text color can be has to be contrasting also. Okay, and at the very bottom of the drop-down section, you can see divider here. So where it says border style, go from solid to none. Okay, and now if I hover over, as you can see, the divider line has disappeared. Now you may want to keep the line and style it to your taste, of course. Okay, so that works fine for the desktop. Let's keep on adding content. So go back to the content tab with the navigation menu still selected. And we're going to create a new item, and we're going to call it Bravo. Okay, and once again, drop down width should be equal to section. We're going to drag that just before contact. Click on add item, and we're going to repeat the same procedure. So the second one should be submenu. Make sure you drag it under Bravo because it's directly depending on what's on top of it. So item here should be item type submenu. The content type should be save section. And as you may have guessed, the section will be the Bravo section. Okay, so if I hover over it now, it works fine. Let's repeat the operation for Charlie. So it's going to be Charlie drop down width equal to section. So let me drag it just before the contact element of navigation. It may not reflect right away. It seems to be a bug sometimes, but it's going to work fine. Don't worry. And click on add item and drag the item just underneath Charlie. And once again, this time it has to be a sub menu. The content tab should be a save section, and the select section should be Charlie. Okay, so this is exactly what we wanted. Now, if you recall in the demo here, the delta is a regular dropdown. So how do we achieve that? So once again, click on add an item. It should be a menu item. We're going to call it delta. We're going to drag it here just before the contact. Okay. And the drop down width, we're going to leave it as default. And the drop down position, it really depends on whether or not you have elements after that item. We have an element because it's contact that's going to be right after it. So I'm just going to align the position to center, but to right, sorry. But if you're a bit confused or lost, just try it out and see how it works for you in your navigation. So delta, make sure it's a menu, okay? And now we're going to click on add an item, drag it right under delta, and select sub menu. And here we're going to keep it as text. Keep it as text. And in the text field, we're going to name it Delta 1, for example. And where it says link, if you just type Delta 1, it's going to select the Delta 1 page, and then you can just add it. I'm not going to do it right here, but you get the idea. Just type the name of the page, and it's going to go and get it for you. So I'm quickly going to duplicate those sub items and just change the name and click on update. Okay, so now if I go back and refresh our page, yes, we have everything here. Okay, so Alpha, Bravo, you can see the change of color and of content. Then I have Charlie, Delta, and our contact and a home page, which is exactly what we wanted. Okay, so how does it work in tablet mode? So in tablet mode, this is what we have, which is not exactly what we want. So let me go back, and this time I'm going to go in tablet mode. Okay, so first of all, you want to select each column and make sure it's 50%. So 50%, then I select the second column, and in the column width should be 50%. Okay, next you want to select the navigation menu, and then you want to close the first part and go to the layout part, and where it says responsive alignment, you want to align to the right. Okay, now you can also style it here. It doesn't really matter, but I'm just gonna style the menu trigger. So for that, I click on the navigation menu, went to the style tab, and then where it says menu trigger and close icon, you can style the color of the trigger here. So I'm just going to click on update. Okay, then let's go into mobile mode. And as you can see in mobile mode, we need to take care of the column. So click on the first column, make it 50%, click on the second column and make it 50%. Okay, so now let me refresh. Okay, now if I click, I can open, I have everything working as it should. And if we go into mobile, once again, let me refresh. If I click on it, yeah, everything seems to be working fine. Now, as I mentioned, this is not my preferred way of having the mobile navigation, but it's totally fine. It works fine. You can change the height and the spacing between the various elements. One thing I did not find though is how to change the padding around the edges, which is a bit too close for me. Maybe I just missed the setting, but I can't find it. So if I had to use that in a real project, I would use CSS. It would go as fast. But if you're not familiar with CSS, it might be kind of annoying. It's like I said, either I didn't find it, or maybe they forgot to add it, and they're quite responsive. So if we added, I guess they could add the setting. But as I said in the intro, I want to change the mobile navigation. This is not something I would want to use. I'd like to have kind of a application like a web app navigation. So for that, I'm going to go back right here. Okay. And the first thing I'm going to do is select the whole section, go to advanced responsive, and I'm going to hide that on tablet and on mobile. So that navigation is only going to be for the desktop version. So now if I refresh, okay, I have no navigation, but if I go into desktop mode, I still have my navigation. Okay. Next, we want to build another navigation. So what you can do, for example, you can duplicate this section or create a new section. It would also be a section with 2 columns. I'm just going to use the pre-style section from Elementor. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this one here, and I'm just going to paste it here. It's exactly what I've just explained. It's one section with 2 columns. Okay, the logo, but once again, I need to make sure that the logo is linking somewhere. This is just user experience. So I'll click on the image, go to link, custom URL, click on dynamic and site URL. Okay, and in the second column, it's actually a icon widget. And that icon widget links to a pop-up, but we haven't created the pop-up yet. Now, as mentioned, I'm using pre-styled templates, so I already have the pop-up, but I'm just going to show you how you can do it. So drag and drop a icon widget. So click on the widgets icon, type icon, and you're just gonna drag it here, okay? Now I've already pre-styled it. And at this stage, make sure you save your work by clicking on the button here. It will be green if there's anything to change. So click on update, okay? And now we're gonna actually create the pop-up. So back in WordPress, go to templates, pop-ups, and then click on add new, make sure pop-up is selected and give it a name. Now, once you've done that, click on create template. I've already done it. So once you click on template, it's going to open Elementor and you're going to see a blank page. So I've already pre-styled it, but once again, I'm going to show you how to do it. The first thing you want to do is click on the little gear icon in the bottom left corner, which are the pop-up settings. Okay. And you want to select VW for the width and make it 100 VW. So basically it's the whole viewport width. Next, for the height, you want to select custom and you want to give it a custom height of 100 VH. So once again, it's the 100% of what's visible. For the position, you want to center it horizontally and vertically. You want to turn off the overlay. We don't want any overlay, but you want to keep the close button. Now, when it comes to the entrance animation, just click here and type slide in, or look for slide in, but I find it faster to just type slide than space in. And we're going to select slide in right. And for the exit animation, we want to select slide out right. Next, for the animation duration, I want it to be really snappy, really fast. So I chose 0.2, but you can select pretty much anything you prefer. That's pretty much it for the settings. The only thing left for the settings is to go to style. Then you want to go to close button, and then you want to give it a color that will be contrasting with the background of your pop-up. And I gave it a size of 35 for the close icon here, but you can choose pretty much anything you prefer. Okay, now I've already added a call to action and some social icons, but this is just a regular section, so you can add pretty much anything you want. So that was for the pop-up settings, but initially when you create your pop-up, you will have a blank page and you will need to add a section. So you will add a section with one column, and then you can start pre-styling it and adding the navigation, call to action, social icon, and so on. Now, I've already styled it. So basically, let me open the navigator. With my section selected, we're just going to go through the settings that I've used, and you may want to use the same. So content width is boxed. For the rest, I haven't changed the column gaps. For the height, I chose minimum height, and it should be 100 VH. Okay, column position should be in the middle. Now for the rest, if you go to the style tab, I chose a light blue color, but you can choose anything you want, of course. And for the padding, if you go to the advanced section, I've selected a right and left padding of 70 pixels. Next, if we move into tablet mode, we can see that I've changed the padding of the section. So we're really talking about the section and not the pop-up settings. So we have 100 on top, 50 on the right, 200 at the bottom, and 50 on the left-hand side. And in the mobile, we have 90 pixels on top, 20 on the right-hand side, 120 pixels at the bottom, and 20 on the left-hand side. Okay. So let's go back to our initial view. So this is desktop, but actually we're not going to use this in desktop mode. If you recall, the desktop mode is going to be this here. So we're just going to use this for the tablet and mobile. So let me start from the tablet view. Okay, and now I'm just going to click on edit, sorry, on the widgets icon here, and I'm gonna type nav. Now I can drag and drop a nav menu item here. But actually, if you recall, we've already created some navigation element. So what I'd rather do is go back. So I'm going to go back to our Bravo tab, and I'm just going to right click and copy one navigation item here. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to our pop-up, and I'm going to right click and paste this here. Okay, you can't see anything right now, and it's normal. It's because it's white on white. So I'm just going to remove that. And then I'm going to start styling the elements here. Okay, so with our nav menu selected here in the navigator, let me go to the style tab. And first of all, I'm going to change the text color. So I'm going to use this color here. Okay, so now that I can see stuff, let me go back to the content tab, and where it says align, I want to center it. Okay, so now click on style. Okay, next I want to click on typography, and I'm going to give it a size of 30 pixels. Okay, and the vertical padding, I'm going to give it 25. Actually, it's a bit much, so I'm going to give it 20. Okay, so that's looking good. Let's take a look at the mobile version. So let me click once again on the navigation, and for the typography this time is going to be 25 pixels, and for the vertical padding we want to give it 15 pixels. Okay, just click on update to save our work. So once we've done that, go back to the content tab, and for the menu, we want to select the big menu, the massive menu I talked about earlier on, which is called the menu. Okay. And because we've done all the work up front, then it's easy and painless. So let's go back into tablet mode. And if you recall, in the demo, I also added the Charlie images, because if we go back here, you can see in desktop mode, we have those images, but in mobile, we only have text. So in case you wanted to add those images also, what I would do is click on the widgets icon. Then I would drag an inner section and just place it below the navigation here. Oh, it didn't work. Oops. There you go. And then I would just duplicate one section. So I have 3. And once again, all I'm going to do is go back. I'm just going to copy that image here, and I'm going to paste it in the first one. Okay, in the second one and the third, and I'm just going to change the images. Now you could put it after the call to action at the very bottom, or not put it at all. It's really up to you. It's just to show you what's possible. Okay, so now we have our pop-up ready. Okay, so one thing I forgot to mention is that when you're inside the pop-up for the full screen navigation, the first time you publish, you're going to be prompted with the display conditions. And if you've missed that, you just need to click on the little arrow here and click on display conditions. Now, by default, it will be like this. And once again, just click on add condition, and it will add the entire site included. And that's exactly what we want. We don't want to touch any of the triggers or the advanced rules. So basically, all you need to do is just to add that condition, include on the entire website. Click on next, next, save and close, and you're good to go. So now that we've done that, we can actually go back to our header that we did in the previous step. And now if you click on the icon here, you want to go to dynamic, pop up, then click on the little wrench icon, click on all, and I'm going to type the name of the pop-up. So make sure you recall the name you've used, or otherwise just go back to WordPress. Mine is called full screen navigation. So I'm just going to click on update. But there's one more thing we need to do, because if I go back now and I go into mobile mode, I'm going to refresh. So in mobile mode, it's working fine. This is what we wanted. Okay, with our images, looking good. But if I go back to desktop mode, now I have two navigations. So for that, just go back and select the second section for the mobile here. So click on the 6 little dots or select the section here in the navigator, then go to advanced responsive, and we want to hide that on the desktop. So click on update. Okay, now let's refresh, and there you go. So now if I hover over Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, it all works fine. So let's go into tablet mode first. Let me refresh. So now we have different type of navigation. And let's go into mobile mode. Let's refresh. And it looks fine. So you've learned how to create a mega menu for the desktop, and you've also learned how to create the version for tablet and mobile, and the alternate version if you prefer this type of navigation. Now, if you're interested in purchasing any of the tools mentioned in this video, you will find all the links in the description below. So I hope that this video showed you how to create beautiful mega menus for your next WordPress website. Now, if there are other WordPress tutorials that you'd like me to cover, please let me know in the comments. And by the way, you find the companion blog post on my website, Kissina.com. And of course, the direct link is in the description of this video. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please like it, as it really helps growing this channel. And if you know someone that could benefit from it, please share it now. If you're not yet a subscriber, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and smash the notification bell so that you don't miss anything. Now, if you want to brand, market, and grow your business in the digital age, then make sure you subscribe to my email newsletter so that you never miss a share of digital alchemy, as well as tips, tools, services, and case studies that can help you grow your business online. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope to see you in the next video. And in the meantime, don't forget to invest
in your success.